Now it's time to head to Waitomo in the Waikato to the sheep and beef farm that we've just seen there, taking up that not only the regional trophy but several smaller awards as well. Mark and Felicity, thank you for taking the time to come on Sarah's Country tonight.
Hi Sarah, yep, thanks for having us.
And congratulations, as we just said. Can you just explain to us about the early days at Paerua and your ambitions for the farm and what you sort of set out 20 years ago to achieve?
I think it's been a bit of a journey. You know, you learn as you go. 20 years ago, you know, we were thinking about how we wanted to be seen as farmers. And one of the things was, you know, let's do something that not everybody is doing. So we did start a long time ago. It hasn't been a 5-minute wonder sort of thing.
That is the main thing with the environmental stewardship that a lot of people don't really understand is, one, it can't happen overnight, and it's a long time in the making. And of course, obviously, you have lots of trials and tribulations along the way. What were some of those challenges?
Probably when you start, like we started with one tiny little pond, and some things grow and some things don't grow. So it's learning about what works in your country side, you know, what works in your environment.
And obviously we're going to touch on the fact that the Ballance Farm Environment Awards, sadly I got to attend the physical Canterbury one just before lockdown, and then of course it's been announced virtually. It must be disappointing to obviously not have that sort of time in the sun after 20 years of hard work of coming to that point.
Yeah, it was a bit of a disappointment. I mean, it's probably more of a disappointment for the people that were organising the event. I mean, you've got to give kudos to them to get 300 people together, all the catering and that would have had to been cancelled. You know, the sponsors, you know, without them, there would be no award. And so how do we give them recognition for what they've done? You know, Ballance in particular, you know, what a great thing for them to sponsor.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, it's a recognition that's been going on now for a long time with the New Zealand Farm Environment Trust and the work and being able to highlight the great work that farmers are doing, but also to be able to show other farmers that it's really possible. What would be some of your sort of top tips and advice for people being able to make that environmental transition?
I think it is about starting small. We had a lot of support and encouragement from the Regional Council. They were really good. They know about what sort of plants to plant. They suggested like you start where you can see them. So it's about taking small steps, and then you've got something to see, and you then when you see it happening, you get more and more into it.
Mm. Must be very satisfying as it's all developing.
Yeah, it is. You know, I believe that biodiversity is the biggest visual measure of the environment. You know, if you see a lot of new native birds coming in, you know, the tuna, the kakahi, all those sort of things reappearing, the environment must be doing better.
It also makes your farm a nicer place to live. Because when you're driving along on the bike and that sort of thing, you've got shaded areas so you can see the plants growing. It's really pretty, and you can see the birds and the plants, and you know you spot another big fat pigeon in the tree or something like that. It just makes you enjoy where you live.
What sort of impact has it had on in terms of like profitability and having that increased biodiversity? Obviously, when you're increasing things like bees for pollination and bird life and things, they do sort of interact with your farming system differently.
Yeah, they do. I mean, by fencing off our waterways and fencing off native bush and things, it's probably improved our profitability. You know, we haven't had to drain some of our drains for over 10 years with drain diggers. So that's a big cost saving. You know, we don't pull sheep out of the drain and cows out of the ditch, you know, so you don't have all those losses as well. You put fertiliser on to the edge of the fence, not half it doesn't go in the creek because there's a clear visual barrier where fertiliser should go, things like that. Yeah, I think it really improves your profitability.
Yeah, it's fantastic to be able to discuss that and just some of those really practical things that you've just said there. Mark, you're heavily, and I'm sure Felicity as well, involved in local and central government conservation work with, of course, Mark explained to me, the New Zealand Conservation Authority. What's your experience been in this, say, for instance, current government's understanding of how environmental and economic can go hand in hand?
I think people are really starting to value the environment. You know, in this COVID lockdown, people are starting to really think, what is important to me? You know, and the environment it's coming out as something really important. People have slowed down and they've looked at things like, you know, there's less air pollution. You know, they've noticed the native birds and that, and they think maybe this is what's important. It's not, you know, the rush of going everywhere. So I think it's a big win in a silly way that we're having at the moment.
And we've obviously got a few draft policy statements still to be released and firmed up going into the election. Of course, the Essential Freshwater and the Indigenous Biodiversity policy. What's your thoughts, Mark, on how policymakers should interact and communicate, that shared values that we can all move together with an understanding of farming practices at the same time?
I think policymakers have been listening. I think, you know, they have gone out to the community and said, what's important to you? I think, you know, the government has done a good job at listening to what we want. I'm reasonably happy with what's been going on.
I think for farmers to engage, it's about having clear messages. So if farmers know what the expectations are, know what they've got to do, and know what support is available, I think it really helps.
Yeah, you need to get involved. It's no use complaining after the event. You need to get involved while these, you know, things are going on.
That's some actually very clear and sensible messages. Thank you so much, Mark and Felicity Brough. Before you head away, we're getting the national rain gauge. Waikato's been extremely dry. Please tell me you've had some rain.
Yep, we've had 60 mils today, so things are looking good. I mean, we feel for our cousins in the Hawke's Bay, but there's not a lot we can do about it.
Oh, some positive news there, 60 mils in the Waikato. Wonderful place there at Waitomo. And that's Felicity and Mark. Congratulations again on behalf of us all, the 2020 Waikato Ballance Farm Environment Award winners.
This is Sarah's Country.